Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Welcome to Bars and Bells. My name is Lauren.
And I'm Ian.
I got a little excited about the going live message. Welcome to the weekend workout. This is week 1 of the latest crows, crawls,
pistol squats.
Thank you.
Warm up those hands, warm up that upper body, the hips. Grab that balance aid as Lauren will take that over in a second. It's the head and those rib cages for me first. Open up into your squatting stance, maybe that crow stance. Take your hands across the rib cage to start. Lightly retract your shoulder blades, tall with the chin tuck, eyes on the horizon. I'll look towards Lauren here on my right. My hips and shoulders will stay forward, looking to Lauren, and then return to center. Repeat to the other side. Chin tuck, the crown of the head reaches to the ceiling as you rotate and return to center. Adding on, it's a head and then ribs, head, ribs. Rotate at the head neck. I chose to the right. My hips will stay forward, my shoulders stay retracted, and I'll rotate to the same direction. Return the head to center and let that rib cage or T-spine follow. Repeat, other side, rotate, get tall. Stay square with the hips, but rotate through the torso. Remember to breathe, and then head to center, rib cage to follow. Repeating one more, but it's a double. It's the head to the right.
Or left.
Or left. Shoulder blades retract, rotate through that T-spine the same way. Stay there. To the same direction with the head, 1 degree more. Then to the same direction, 1 degree more with the body. Keep the body there. Return the head to center. Let that rib cage follow. And last time, the double. The retraction chin, the rotation. The retraction blades, the rotation. Stay there. Maybe head moves 1 more degree. Then maybe that rib cage can move 1 more degree. Then rotate the head to center. Finish with the torso. And let that reset beautifully in the middle. I'll go right down from the top to the bottom at the feet, and then Lauren will take it over with those hips in the middle. Let's practice those knees over toes habits, and then press those hips through in our first squat. 2 more repetitions, knees over toes. Push the hips through. 1 last time, knees over toes. Push hips and test your balance here today. The butts are squeezed, the legs are stiff, and the rib cage is being worn right over top of those hips. Take time with stiff or straight knees here as we slowly return to the floor. Then let's pivot to that first position. Pull in to squat. That's our crow shape again. And then press those hips back through. Repeat, knees over toes, and push through. And for the last one, push through and find the balance. Squeeze your butt, stiffen the knees, and breathe. And land. Now open up to the side, transfer your weight to one side, and now keeping the foot firmly on the floor, point to the toes. Land on the balls of feet. Point to the toes, land the balls of feet. Point to the toes for a couple more repetitions here. Encourage the knees to stay straight, the hips to stay forward. Improve that foot and calf strength. Land on the full foot. Transfer weight to the other side. Toes point. Land on those balls of feet. Toe point, balls of feet. Repeating again, hips to level, legs stay stiff. A couple more repetitions to improve that foot strength and balance. And then on our last repetition, we'll land with the heel, then push to one side, assemble together. Bring it in, and now to Lauren for more of that stuff in the middle.
Excellent. You'll need a balance aid at your side, so that balance isn't a part of this equation. We'll work on that later. Your balance aid is next to you. Your inside leg stays nice and straight. Let's first point our leg to the front, the outside leg. We'll rotate that leg open inseam towards the ceiling. Next, we'll do an internal rotation on that femur, hiding the inseam, and 1 more time rotate the leg open. Keeping that inseam forward, send the leg to the side. Once the leg's beside you, the hips are still forward, the shoulders and rib cage are still forward. Rotate the leg into that internal rotation. Rotate it open again, inseam forward. This time we'll end on that internal rotation and continue around the back. Once out the back, flex over that foot, bringing a straight leg under center, point to the front. We'll keep that knee straight as it passes back underneath us to the back. This time we'll open the leg up, keeping the hips forward, leg opens to the side. Let's keep that inseam up as we complete the circle to the front. Then you'll have to rotate the kneecap forward, pull the leg underneath. As we explore some progressions of our crows today, let's start by thinking about it standing. Slowly peel that same leg up off the floor, bringing the foot towards your calf or your knee. Your knee is in front. Right now your hips are level. Next, let's hike that hip up. Don't do that again. Pull it down. Think about this as we get into this from our plank position. Now let's open the leg to the side. Same idea. We have this number 4 with level hips. Hike the hip, pull the hip down. So as we're thinking about doing our crow and various exercises here, let's keep the length between the bottom rib and the hip. Keeping that length, bring the knee to the front. Keep the knee bent as you brush it back underneath you. And let's just hold this position for a couple seconds. Get your heel as close to your bum as you can. Compress. Keep the length, but don't drop the other hip. Stay tall for 3, 2, and then gently extend the leg to straight. Underneath, grow up tall, pushing both hips forward. Root your feet, squeeze your butt, pull up your kneecaps, and then relax. Whew. Work on that standing leg as we find mobility on the other side. Let's repeat on the other leg. We started with tallness on our inside leg. Point the leg to the front, outside. Rotate the leg open, inseam up. Rotate the femur in. Hips, pelvis stay level. One more time, rotate the leg open. Next, send that leg to the side with the inseam forward and pause once it's beside you. Hips are forward, shoulders are forward. Gently rotate that leg in, hiding the inseam. Rotate the leg open, showing the inseam. And one last time, turn it in. Now continue around the back of the circle. Flex over the foot with a straight knee. It'll pass through center, pointing to the front. And then we'll pass through center again, reaching to the back with that straight leg, and then flick to point. Hips are forward, rotate the leg open in the socket. That inseam will end up forward at the side. Continue with that inseam forward as you get to the front. Then we'll rotate kneecap to ceiling, pull underneath. Let's continue peeling that foot up off the floor to that flamingo-like position. Knee is in front of you, hips are level. Now hike your hip, pull it down. There's a time and a place, not here. Open the leg to the side. Let's do it again. What's gonna happen? Bring it down. Good. Holding this position for 3, 2, bring the leg back to center. Brush underneath, and now we held this position here. We call this some hip extension. We're trying to extend that bent leg. We're getting our heel as close to our butt as we can, like those sprinters do, and we're holding for 3, 2, and then straighten the leg out underneath. Root the feet, extend both hips, pull at your kneecaps, brace, and then relax.
Based on those sounds, we might need to change that name of the flamingo to the Canada goose. Because yesterday, walking home, we see those Canada geese standing on one leg and very viciously making flapping wings and kind of
It's a scary time of year in Canada.
Shaking that out. It's time to return to the floor. And if we're working on those crows or crawls first, it's the hands. So let's fold to the floor. The chin this time tucks gently to the top of the chest. The shoulders stay retracted, please. And then very gently, we flex like a hook or a candy cane, ribs towards those hips. You could soften your knees if you needed to explore more through the spine, but encourage the knees to stay straight, the hips to stay over the feet, and get low. Then at your safe low, do a gentle knee bend. Then very gently again, of course, straighten the knees again. And then anyhow that's available for you, find the floor on your all 6 points, being hands, knees, and those feet. The fingertips face forward. The callus lines are firmly connected to the ground, and the heels of the hands squeeze, rooting the hands into the floor. With the head looking at the thumbs or between the hands on the ground, retract the shoulder blades. Pull the hands to the knees, encouraging the shoulders to drift over the hands or extending on the wrist. Maintain the tailbone like cow, as Lauren's showing, and press the floor forward to move your hips back. The tailbone stays long. Pull the hands to the knees. Encourage the wrists to root and the shoulders to extend over those wrists, and then press the floor forward that you go back. Keep your tailbone like a cow, or the anterior tip. Then pull one more time forward. This one's a toughie. Press through the ground. Finish with the wrists. Press the hips through and add a gentle shake. One more quick wrist warm up here. Knuckles this time. The peace sign. Make peace, not war. End up on those peace sign digits. Can you get your pinkies to touch? I can't, but I'm trying. But now line up that most of the load again is on the index and middle finger. Keep the shoulders down, keep the elbows straight, and gently flex over the wrist. Flexing over the wrist in this case is our flexibility drill. Our strength drill is pressing the knuckles into the ground to return to the stacked position. Repeat on the other side. Flex over the wrist, armpits stay low, then press the hand into the ground to return to stack. One last time, easy does it on the over, then drive down to bring the wrist back to the stacked position. And the final time to even it out, other side, flex, drive into the ground to bring it back, and then flick those fingers away, squeeze your butt cheeks, brace the core, and shake it out. Lauren.
Yes.
Hips.
Oh, okay, good. Sorry. I think we should warm up our lunge position in various ways as we try to get into our crow later today or work towards it. Let's first start inside lunge position. Your front leg is in front of you. Your back leg is directly in front of you. Take a peek back. Is your foot winged out to the side or winged into your midline? Let's get it right in line with the knee. You're sitting up tall. Do you want to hear that sound again? Ready for it. Hike a hip, pull it down.
No sounds, please.
Then gently tuck under that back hip, squeezing your back butt cheek. As you do that, you're driving down on your front leg and pulling it in, extending your back hip forward. Keep that tension right now, pulling towards center. Now change that tension, pushing forward and back. And what that might allow you to do, stay stacked, don't let that hip go back, is hover off the floor for 3, 2, and then that knee will come back down. Let's repeat that one more time. Pull the tension in. Keep that back hip extended. Now, even though you're going to change the direction of the tension, keep extending the back hip as you lightly come up off the floor for 3, hovering, 2 or not, and down.
My foot wasn't the right way.
Good. Heel toe the leg open to the side. Right now, we'll have those level hips again, that back hip tucked under. Let's drive down on that side leg and pull in, keeping extended. This time we'll pull so much we'll actually drift knee towards over toe. And then we'll push into the floor to come back to tall. Meet up tall. Repeat again. Pull, drifting knee towards over the toe, staying stacked. As you push back, end up hitting a wall and creating a nice long line, extending that back hip. Heel toe the leg to the front. Pull it underneath, and we'll repeat on the other side. Leg in front, leg right behind you. Hike that hip up, and then gently tuck it under. Gently pull it down. Next, tucking under that back hip means you're squeezing your back cheek. Right now, you're aiming to have your shoulders over top of your hips. Both hips are square to the front of the room. We're pulling the tension together right now. We're pulling the front leg in, driving the back leg forward, but we're not moving. Next, we'll keep the same position, but change the tension so much so you could hover off the floor for 3, 2, and then soft landing. Let's repeat that again. Pull the floor together, extending the back hip, and then push the floor away, hovering for 3, 2, and land. Heel toe that leg open to the side. Hips are still forward and level. Give it a little hike, and then pull it down. Tucking under or squeezing, extending that back hip. Drive down in the side leg and pull. Pull so much you start moving. Knee towards over toe. Keeping this hip forward. Press forward to go back. One last time, back hip extended. Pull on that side leg, drifting knee towards over toe. and then press away to grow up tall. Keep extending that back hip, find that wall line, and then relax. Heel toe the leg to the front, pull it underneath. Oh, should we explore our first crawl?
I think we should. No sound effects, but if it was, it would be a...
Oh, broke your own rule. Oh, elephant. I thought you were going to continue. With our hands on the floor, our tailbone tipped towards the ceiling, let's push our feet forward, our hands forward and our feet back to lift our hips into our elephant-like shape. In this shape, we're prioritizing our long spine or that tailbone towards the ceiling as we did when we pushed back into that squat. Breathe, take a couple seconds. It's great if your heels find the floor, but it's also great if you keep that spine extended. Let's take a couple steps forward, opposite hand and foot, peeling the hands off the floor. Breathing, that contralateral gait in the forward direction. And then stop. Let's bend our knees, hovering our knees off the floor. Re-tip the tailbone to the ceiling. Lift up, keep that position. And now let's take our opposite hand and foot walking backwards back. Breathe. Get back to about where you started. We'll walk our hands to our feet and then slowly stack ourselves up to tall, unfolding. Head will be last to land as you stack your spine all the way up.
Lauren will be cueing those crawls and crows and follow along with me for our pistol squat variations here. Perhaps have that balance aid to the side or out in front of you and work on this with balance and strength. Pull up to that little flamingo or Canada Goose stance here and just hold your position. The leg that you're standing on is tucked under. The leg that you're elevating is tipped back. But as you sit down, both hips tip back like the littlest cow tip ever and hold. Build strength and politely stress this position. Then extend the hip forward, pulling tall. Repeating for 2 more repetitions. A slight tailbone tip back to make room for that hip to flex that you're standing on, and hang out and press through. Focus on you and maybe look at Lauren here, and as we descend one last time, the hips stay over top of the feet. Avoid the sit back for at least right now. Then press through to tall, and for one last time, could you find the littlest balance or the highest, but wherever you get, announcer's jinx, come down with control. Always ways to improve. Come down with control. Same thing other side. 3 repetitions, pull up to the flamingo. We either want the knee in front with no daylight between the legs or that perfect triangle underneath. This time though, knee forward. Knee towards over toe that you're standing on. Hold for a couple seconds, check out, and then press through to tall. Tuck under that standing leg to squeeze the bum. To descend, tip that tailbone back a little bit, goes a long way. Hang out down here in the squat, and then press the hip through, finishing tall. Repeating 1 more time, tailbone tip back. Descend in a pistol squat stance here to start. Hang out, hang out, hang out. Press through to tall. And this time I'll go a little less high on my balance as I want to own the dismount or the descending phase. And with a straight leg, I'll return to the floor. Finish tall, and then shake it out. Back to Lauren for more crows and crawls progressions.
Excellent. Let's come down and warm up those hips again by doing a stationary lizard. We'll use our hinge this time. So we'll do that slight tip of the hips as we hinge our hips back. Just pause here. Are you feeling that load through your hamstrings? Ding, ding. Good. Now, break some rules, tip forward. Let's end up in our plank. Before we leave our plank position, let's hold it. So, pull your shoulders down, squeeze your cheeks, brace your core for 3, 2. Now you'll take a single foot and you'll flick the floor away. You'll bring that foot up, placing it down beside your hand. Try to make that transition as smooth as possible versus wiggling into it. Now, I want you to send this knee forward and send that heel to the back. Split yourself in half, reaching long. Then pull that tension back in so that you could almost lift your foot up off the floor and then place it back where you got it. Other side, flick, lift, place. Reach long out your front knee, reach out your heel. If you're finding this too much from your hands on the floor, you could stack your hands up onto some blocks or a small table. Next, pull that tension back in, lift your foot, place it back one more time each side. Flick, lift, place. Reach away from center, stretching long. Pull back into center, lift, place. Last time, flick, hold, reach long, heel pushes away, knee pushes away. Then return pulling to center, place the foot back. Let's hold a plank for 5 more seconds. 3, 2, now tip the tailbone up towards the ceiling, lifting the hips. Let's walk our hands back to our feet and come up through the hinge position again. So hips go back. Whoops, watch out for the windows and the plants.
Watch out for the aloe plant.
And come up to tall.
Excellent. Continuing that squat progression. Staying in that pistol squats position and more time though. Pull up, little flamingo stance. Both hips start to tip back as we descend into that lunge. The squat. Stay here. Pull the elevated leg higher and maybe get lower and then press through, finishing tall. Let's switch legs here as we alternate between left and rights. Pull up. Both hips tip back as we descend in that squats position. Hang out in your safe low, then lift the other leg higher from the hip. The hips are still staying level. And then press through, finishing tall. Transfer again. There will be this little weight shift. Pull up, low stance. Tailbone tips back through both hips, descending. Hips stay level, but flex the hip as to bring the knee higher. And then it press through, finishing tall. Repeat on the other side. Breathe. Slow down that heart rate. Tip the tailbone back. Get to your safe low. Pulling up on the one side helps share that load that you might be able to get lower, and then press the hip through to stand. One last repetition with that toe balance at the end. Flamingo, check. Tailbone like the smallest cow to the back. Descend.
One might say a calf.
Love it. Hips stay level. Flex the hip higher, perhaps. Get lower. Press through. Own this position and stay on the flat foot, or hopefully I can redeem myself here as we hold a balance and very slowly, with a straight leg, return. Final repetition for me. Pull up, flamingo stance. Calf-like tip of that hip, so a super small tip of the hips to the back to descend. The hips stay level. Could you flex the hip, meaning knee up? Does that allow you to get a little lower? And then press through, finishing tall and gently. Find that demi point or toe balance raise and slow down. That was redeeming and humbling at the same time. That said, progress is non-linear. We'll keep working on those pistol squat progressions. But until then, Lauren, what's up?
Well, to become a crow, one must first become a frog. Do a lot of morphology here. We will pull ourselves down into our low squat position, and let's hang out there for a couple seconds exploring that. So in your squat-like stance, pull yourself down. Just hang out here for a couple seconds. Your heels should be on the floor. Your balls of feet and all 10 toes should be on the floor. You're gripping so your arches are engaged. Right now, just gently push your knees open. Keep the feet heavy on the floor and then relax. And do that one more time. Drive your knees away from center. Chest is lifted as long and then push back up to tall. We'll add on to that if you'd like, or continue hanging out in your low squat position. Pulling yourself down again. Control the descent. Next, we'll place our hands on the floor out front. Hands, so fingertips, callus line, palms. Then we'll start shifting our weight forward into our hands, onto our toes, soft landing, little frog hop. Hands, shift weight, straight elbows, frog hop. One more time, 2 more times in the forward direction. Get up on those tiptoes and soft land. Keep the elbows straight, the lats engaged. Whew. Now, let's stay where you are. Extended spine, drive out on the legs, stand up.
Thank you for letting us come up there, Lauren.
Oh, if we could, can we try that in the reverse direction? If forward was hard enough, I would recommend turning around and going back forward. Back forward. If you would like an added challenge, let's go backwards. Pull yourself down into that squat. The hands will get placed close to you this time, inside your feet. Then you'll push the floor forward, sending your legs back. Flick the floor away. Hands, push yourself back. Flick. Imagine spending as much time in the air as you could. Get some hang time there. Come back, drive down and out with those legs, and press through to tall.
What is this pistol squat we've been talking about, Lauren? Can you show us one?
I could.
Excellent. Standing on one leg, the other leg beautifully placed out front. We sit low, we pop back up. We pull, we point, we take our time descending, and back to tall. We've worked a lot on that standing leg. Let's grab a chair, grab your balance aid, and let's work on that stiff leg strength out front. Grab the chair.
Grab this chair. Well, I was wondering if you were going to your bar. You didn't seem to move.
There you go. All right. So standing now on a stiff leg, pull up to the smallest flamingo coup de pied ballet inspired position at that ankle nook. Take away the daylight, pull the knees facing forward. The knee stays in the same place, and we extend on the knee with a pointed toe and hold for 5, 4, 3, and pull back in low. That might be stressful enough. Stay there if that's for you, or climb towards retire inspired position at the knee. Now the knee must stay the same height, or at least aspire to, as we now extend that leg and hold for our 5, 4, 3, 2, and return.
Oh, so hard keeping the ball.
Now let's return down low to the ankle and open the knee to the side. The knee will stay in the same place. We'll extend on that knee and reach out to the side and hold. Could you let go of your bar and hold on with balance? Return down low. Then pull towards retire at the knee and keep the knee the same height, or at least aspire to in the future, as we hold. And again, could we test ourselves without that balance aid? Pull in, return the knee front, and as the foot touches the floor, push your bum through, finish tall like it's easy. We hope it's not, and then shake it out with control. Test those abs always, and repeat one more time on the other side. The standing leg is tucked under. As soon as the knee comes up, that's a super small calf-like anterior tip of the hip. The knee's facing forward, and we'll extend and hold for our 4 or 5 second count. I'm not that great at counting. Let's repeat to the ankle. Then repeating in the retire. Open to the front. Both feet here are appropriate. That modern dance foot or that toe point. Return with control. Then return to the ankle. Open, so we have the knee facing side with the hips facing forward. The knee stays in the same place as we open and reach, and perhaps test your balance without your aid. Return to the ankle. Climb. Take a second. Are we hiked? Hopefully we can maintain level and reach from that leg as we open up and hold. Balance aids, of course. Return. Knee. Pull. Front and find the floor, pushing your hips through. Add that shake and wiggle.
Great. Well, in the title it says we will practice our crow. So we've done a lot of warm up. Let's dabble in our crow. Think about what we need to work on in the next coming weeks in order to achieve a nice crow balance. We'll come down via our squat position. Hang out. Maybe this is where you stay. Right now, I would like you to place your hands down on the floor. Progressions are important, they're hard, they're annoying, but you need to do them. So grip the floor with your hands. Let's get those knees up as high as you can. Keep your toes on the floor and just slowly start drifting your weight forward. Keep your knees high, keep your toes down, and then push the floor forward to come back to your squat. Let's repeat that 2 more times. Toes stay down today. Hands grip the floor. Knees come up high towards your armpit triceps. Drift forward, feel that load, and then slowly come back. One last time here. Hands, knees high, drift forward, toes still connected, and then down. Lift that chest up, push down and away, and stand up tall. Each week we'll progress that crow, leaving a foot, getting so that both feet are eventually off the floor.
Sounds
Take your
fun.
time, practice throughout the week. We'll do it again next week.
We'll do it again next week. So we'll be here live on Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the archive always at Bars and Bells on YouTube. To our YouTubers at large, please like, please subscribe, please share with your families and friends. We appreciate your site visit. To our patrons, thank you for your support. And to our members with their exclusive access and weekly link letter, thank you very much for your continued participation and enrollment in our program. My name is Ian.
I'm Lauren.
Thank you very much for being here today, Saturday, the 2nd day of April, and we will be here for
a while.
Forever. Okay, take care, stay strong, and wave and train soon. Goodbye.
Goodbye.